Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, you are now a member of the Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you, always.
From a sweltering spot just outside Mos Eisley, this is Jedi Alliance in celebration of the greatest saga ever told. I am Ken Napzok, road-weary, still sunburnt from Comic-Con. If you're listening on iTunes, just imagine a bald, ugly egg painted red, and that's what
I'm right here.
So you managed, Mike Black, to avoid the sun because you were in the floor, getting great pictures of Star Wars toys. So here's the deal, guys. Comic-Con, of course, is the talk of the town. It is what you're seeing all over the internet in the geek world, and we were there. At least three of us on this panel were. I'm joined here also by Mark Donica. You were not at Comic-Con.
The one time in 10 years I wasn't at Comic-Con.
But you're here to talk about it.
Damn right I am.
You're up on the news of the weekend, all the things that happened.
Instantly.
And giving us some analyzation. Joining us, again, as I mentioned, is Mike Black, the Jedi Alliance toy expert. And what better man to be here following Comic-Con with all the toy news that came out for Star Wars fans from this fine event.
That's right.
You got to experience
There is no better man.
There is no better man. And joining us on air for the first time, or on camera and on microphone for the first time, is a SchmoesKnow.com writer and contributor to Geek Nation's writings and websites. And he's been on the show before as a call-in, but Alex Welsh.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm tired from Comic-Con.
You're tired from a lot of things because on Tuesday you completed your mission moving from Iowa to Los Angeles.
Yes.
And then Wednesday you go to Comic-Con.
No, I got in Thursday morning at 10 o'clock in San Diego.
Wow.
Went straight to Comic-Con.
Wow, so you don't know what's up, what's down.
No, I don't.
Yeah. And you got to cover stuff for Geek Nation and Schmoes Know, and then you got into Hall H.
Yes,
we
I
were
did.
able to use our connections on Saturday and a password on a door, a couple knocks,
Yep.
and you were in there for Hall H. And I got to experience Hall H on Friday. There's also no time in Comic-Con. There's no concept of years, hours, anything. So if I'm confused a little bit, it's because you're trying to put together what actual human time was used during the weekend. But Friday, I was in there for the Star Wars panel.
Man.
Sorry.
But
You're a
We're
monster.
all jealous, and
The
it's
winner.
just waves of jealousy.
Yeah, half of my con last year was waiting in that line and not getting in.
Really?
So I've been so jaded by Hall H before, and the fact that you just got in is a little.
I literally can't give away how, but there's some ways to get in, and literally we were walking. I actually ran into Michelle Boyd, who's been on the show before, and we went over to this door, and you kind of knock, and you literally give a password, and you get put in the second line, and then they herd you in, and you just walk in.
It's like that scene in Harry Potter where he taps on the bridge and it opens.
Yeah, very much like that. But let's dive into the show today. There's going to be a lot on, as you can tell. It's going to be a little bit looser than you're probably used to on Jedi Alliance because Daddy's tired. Daddy kind of wants to be back taking a nap. But we're here. I could not miss doing the show for you out there in the Star Wars fandom and fans of Jedi Alliance because it was a great weekend to be a Star Wars fan. But first, I do want to start with the 5 most important questions to our first-time guest, Alex Welsh. And Alex, I'm intrigued because to hear what your answers are because you are a young pup.
Yeah.
Next to a youngish pup and some old dogs in the play yard, though there's some older ones out there as well. So, the first thing I got to ask you, when was the first time you saw a Star Wars picture?
I don't remember. I grew up watching them. My mom has a recording of me reacting to the Empire twist somewhere, but I don't remember watching them for the first time. I just grew up watching them.
They just were part of your existence.
Yeah.
That's great. What is your favorite one? You can say Phantom Menace.
The one I
You're among
watched
friends
the
here.
most is probably Return of the Jedi.
Interesting.
I am aware Empire's the best, but I just love watching Jedi.
On an
It's a very
intelligence
diplomatic
level,
answer.
Yeah.
I'm aware, but I love those Ewoks. Now, what is it that draws you to Jedi over and over and over again?
I mean, the whole movie's great, but the scene that always, whenever people trash on Jedi, I always just say the Emperor's throne room.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest sequences I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely, and that's why when they released the photos of that new Lego set coming out, the Emperor's Throne
yeah.
Room, at a price point of $79.99, I am.
It's a steal.
That's reasonable for Lego.
Yeah, it actually
Yeah, it
is.
is.
My friend sent me the picture, and then he sent me those words, price point, $79.99. I went,
Yeah.
oh, I can actually eat that
That's
week.
not terrible.
Yeah, it's going to be a good thing. What is your favorite Star Wars character, Mr. Welsh?
You know, it's hard. I love Luke a lot. I love Yoda a lot.
Okay.
For different reasons, but I think the one that has become increasingly apparent the past few months is my favorite is Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi, meaning you like the old crusty wizard in the desert?
I like Clone Wars, like the animated series.
Yes.
I
you like the whole
I like
character.
Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Even, and I like the originals.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Clone Wars one because James Arnold Taylor does a great job of voicing Obi-Wan
I
in the
just
Clone
love
Wars.
Obi-Wan in that series. He's so good.
I totally agree. There's a lot. You add some layers to him. There's maybe some love affairs in his past that didn't quite get to happen, all that kind of thing with Duchess Satine. And Obi-Wan's good, man. So you're hoping, like I am, for an Obi-Wan spinoff.
Yeah, there's something very Shakespearean to me about him. He's like sort of a tragic character, and I just love him. Alec Guinness's portrayal, Ian McGregor's portrayal, everyone who's touched Obi-Wan's character has been great.
Does a good job.
Yeah.
Does a good job. And then what is your favorite Star Wars quote that you work into your regular life?
I mean, the one I use the most in regular life is different than my favorite.
Well, lay it on me, man.
My favorite is, I don't believe it, that is why you fail.
Okay.
And then the one I use the most is probably May the Force be with you.
Which one do you use on dates?
May the Force be with you.
Don't judge me by my size, do you?
Favorite Force power?
Maybe just from playing Force Unleashed, but Force Push. Pushing those freaking
Push is a good one.
stormtroopers off like Camino and stuff.
There's
it's
a
so
pretty
much fun.
satisfying sound.
It's the ragdoll physics too, though.
Yes.
Mixed with the Wilhelm scream. It's just you can't.
It's so good.
I still love the sound in I think it's Phantom Menace when he force pushes those clones and it goes BAM! Clones just hit the wall. And last thing, you're from the fields of Iowa here. You're a young man, pure as a driven snow, I'm sure. Would you ever turn to the dark side of the Force?
No, just because I couldn't ever see myself killing anybody.
Oh, what a guy, huh? What are you doing in L.A.?
Well, talk to me again in 2 months.
Yeah, we'll see. I killed a man at a bus stop just to get here. That's good. Well,
I would prescribe to the Luke style of Jedi, though.
Okay, well, if anyone who mentions Luke as a possible favorite character and their love of Obi-Wan, you got to be pretty dedicated to the good side.
Yeah.
And I like that. And us weird people that have a fascination with the villains in movies, we're the problems in society.
Yeah.
We're the sociopaths. That is getting to know Alex Welsh as a Star Wars fan. So now we move to From the HoloNet, where we take a look at the Star Wars news from around the world that we didn't get to talk about that took place maybe over the last week. And yes, there's a lot of Comic-Con news, but this is stuff that came out either before, one of it kind of popped out during it. And the first is the Han Solo fan film, and it was announced after we completed our show last week. Did I say fan film? Han Solo origin
like
film.
it.
It seems like it. It
Seems
seems like
like
these
it.
anthology films are like, what would a film that I would want to make as a fan be?
That's
And it
an
ends up
excellent point.
being like, this is it.
I totally agree that they are kind of official fan films in a way. So
Yeah.
we got it. We got to confirm Han Solo, perhaps an origin story or a young Han Solo. We don't know how young yet. Various different casting rumors come with various different ages. Chris Miller and Phil Lord, who have done so well with so many movies and TV shows. One of my favorites, The Last Man on Earth. So guys, put it to you, Mike. What's your reaction to finally knowing that we're getting this film?
I cautiously optimistic would be the best way I could possibly put it, because they've done origins of other Star Wars characters, and I've yet to like it.
Exactly.
You know.
I think I come down on the same side as you on that, where yeah, I get it, and I love the team behind it already. I can get behind that. This was what Trank was supposed to do, and he's gone. We got these people who know it and love it, and clearly can bring fun to things. I'm on board for that. Mark.
I mean, their track record speaks for itself. We got an amazing journey road trip film in the Lego Movie.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
applying that logic of introducing new characters and building this team sounds like a great idea. As long as they don't start it with a young Han Solo watching Luke and Leia get born on that starship from the end of 3, then I'll be fine with it.
That'd be pretty creepy then.
Exactly. It's like they were all meant to be together.
Yeah.
What does that nurse do? The boom, boom, boom.
I don't even want to see any reference to Luke or Leia though in it. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Gosh.
No.
I
Yeah,
like
it
that.
should totally be his own story.
Alex, what do you think about this?
I really have no opinion until I find out who they're casting.
That changes everything
Yeah.
for you, good or bad? You put it all there.
Because I want to be able to see. Here's the thing: I don't even care if he looks like Harrison Ford. I just want him to be able to be a good young Han Solo.
If you can capture the charisma, and again, it's very complicated. We see it time and time again. Chris Pratt's the latest, where people want to anoint him as kind of the new Harrison Ford and the new Solo, and it's not just about casting rumors. And it's more complicated than that. Harrison brings something next level to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, and it also depends on how he's written too.
Right.
And a big factor is age, like what age they start the character at, because I have no interest in 4-year-old Han Solo. None. Couldn't care less.
Can I grow up to be a smuggler?
No. No, you can't.
We don't want that. We don't want that. What's an example of a good casting one of you might want to see in this?
Ken Napzok.
Absolutely. Han Solo as a broke, bald accountant.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think? What's the Breaking Bad guy? I'm drawing a blank.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. A lot of times his name has popped up. Nah, meh.
I like him a lot. I just don't see him as the guy who would sit back in the bar at Mos Eisley.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hearing a lot of
Dan
people.
Stevens would be my pick.
Okay.
I like Dan Stevens.
No, River Phoenix is dead.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He did it, and he did it well.
He did a
before.
great
But
job.
you make
Yeah.
a joke, but in that moment,
There was someone that could do it, so
Absolutely.
Hopefully there's another.
they're gonna have to hope.
There is another.
And if Boba Fett's involved in this one at all, where do you nerds come down on that?
I mean, again, it just depends on where they decide the movie starts. I don't think they would need him, really, depending on the time.
Yeah, I would just want to see him meet Chewie. That'd be sort of a cool story
You'd
for
be
me.
okay with that?
Yeah,
The
meet
life
Chewie
debt-
in the Sabacc game. That'd be cool for me.
Yeah, in the Sabacc game and the life debt begins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that would be I would love it if the story was all leading up to that.
Right.
That would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Him and Lando. Lando
Yeah.
kind of has to be in it.
You know what?
Lando would be cool.
I saw someone suggest on Twitter Donald Glover is a young Lando.
Yes, absolutely.
I want that.
awesome.
Start that
He'd
campaign.
be really good.
He
Yeah.
would be
really
great. Someone out there, please, let's start that campaign.
You could pull
on
that
Twitter.
mustache off.
Absolutely, and the attitude, and he's such a fan of that kind of stuff. I would love to see that. And then it to me wouldn't come off as cheesy. There's a risk here, but I think they're going to do a good job.
Now I
And-
want just a Lando movie.
I just want a Lando
now
movie.
that you brought that up.
And have you had a chance to read the Lando comic that came out last week? I read it on the way down to Comic-Con.
No.
It is very good. Check it out. The new Marvel comic, Lando. You get what you want. By the 4th panel, there's a woman in underwear laying on a bed.
Yes.
It's
Perfect.
definitely a Lando comic. But Lobot is there as well, and it's a very great start to the
In the room with the woman in her underwear, just
not yet.
charging.
That makes sense.
Read it too. Lobot comes off a little different in this too. Lobot talks, and he talks like a normal dude who's just got his head plugged into a computer.
Well, maybe that's what he was like when he wasn't around other people. Maybe when it was just him and Lando.
He was just shy.
Yeah.
When he was on there.
So it wasn't sad Lobot, it was shy Lobot.
Shy Lobot. Second news story I want to talk about officially today came out of some Comic-Con interviews that I thought it was interesting and kind of fun. It's not going to happen. And he himself said it's not going to happen. But director, how do you say, JT? Guillermo del Toro, Willie the Bull, as we like to call him in the Schmoes Know world, said in an interview that he would love to do a Star Wars movie. A Jabba the Hutt origin story.
Yeah, if Guillermo did it, yeah.
Dude,
I
and
would
it's like
see
The Godfather,
the hell
out of that.
but on
God.
Tatooine, that'd be awesome.
Exactly what he was talking about doing, is doing some kind
And
of...
that-
Oh my god, Jabba, kills his brother-in-law and stuff. Oh my god, yes, please.
Just replace everything with
Salacious
Hutt.
is Tom.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Get recast.
That's perfect to me.
Conciliary
I
crumb.
not only want that movie, but I retract what I said about the Solo movie. I want Jabba the Hutt at 4 years old, starting crime in the playground with other children. That's how he amasses his crime ring.
It starts young in the playground.
Him and little Boba.
Boba and Bib Fortuna just kind of, he's kind of Millhouse for The Simpsons, just kind
He's
of
there
milling
at the
about.
birth of Bib Fortuna. You know?
Oh my God, yes.
So that to me, yeah, it's not going to happen. And Guillermo himself said, "Hey, I'm just having fun here. I'm geeking out as a fan, but here is my idea. I'd like to see this as a crime family origin story of
Well,
how
I don't
Hutt-
see why this isn't
That'd be
happening.
awesome.
And
Right?
I'd like this joke to become reality
And
more
he
than
uses
anything.
practical effects to sign me up.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds amazing.
I mean, if anyone could do it and really make it work, it's that guy.
Yeah.
You got a little subplot with a man kind of finding some love, maybe.
Yeah.
Just kind of doing it.
How he
like-
met the
and like-
Rancor Keeper, all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
he's in love with the Twilight, and then at the end he slaps her.
Yeah.
And tells her,
Yeah.
"You should stay away." And then the last shot is just him. Like,
We've got
That's
this.
like a
yes, exactly.
We've got this movie written. Just we'll,
Yeah.
we'll share writing credit. We'll come up with a name.
Yep.
And a lot of people in the chat room are are saying the Jabba movie would be awesome. It's not that bad of
the
an
Job
idea.
Father. Come on,
Yes.
please.
It would not be that bad of an idea if they did that. So that is our quick look at From the HoloNet Star Wars news around the world that's taken place over the last week. I'm sure something will break right after we leave here. They'll announce that it's the Salacious Become Saturday morning kids hour.
I
Stop
would watch
pelting
that.
me with these ideas, man.
I'd love that. You know, Pee-wee's Playhouse, but at Jabba Palace for kids.
Salacious.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let's go to the Rancor. He comes out of the cage all happy.
He delivers mail. And stuff.
He pops his head in.
Yeah, like the
that.
end is him going to view Rancors to buy one.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to move on here to the main course of our meal today, the wrap-up of the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con International as it has to do with Star Wars. I'm telling you, I'm still on the road. That drive back, like I said.
Oh, it's rough.
I said on
It's
Twitter
rough.
yesterday, that is the plot of Mad Max Fury Road. Just getting back, battling traffic, all these nerds on the road trying to get back to you.
I am awaited in Valhalla.
Yeah.
Witness me.
and then some people are like, you got to take the train back from Comic-Con. Take the train. My friend Tom Dagnino took the train. Took him 3 hours on the train.
Yeah.
So
There's no right
At least you
answer
can
to
stop
that.
and get food on a car.
The right answer is staying an extra night because leaving
Yeah.
Monday
Yeah,
morning
you might
is
be right.
so good.
Yeah, that's the right
Nobody
answer.
there.
That
So
is
good.
the right answer. So, of course, the main player of the Comic-Con weekend for Star Wars was the panel in Hall H, which took place on Friday night about 5:40. I know, because I was there waiting from noon. I know there was people waiting there for last year since JT left that line in the bushes. Still, it's a long day. Anytime you're in Hall H, it is a long day.
Yeah.
You're in there, you got people's elbows next to you, kind of taking your space. You eat about 6 Cliff bars and all the water you can grab. But the panel happened, and it was everything you kind of needed it and wanted it to be as a Star Wars fan, minus, of course, trailer or scenes, which right up top, J.J. Abrams said, hey, we are not doing this. We are not bringing footage. Look for a new trailer in the fall. We don't have that stuff ready. A final cut of the film has not yet come, but they have a version of the film cut, which
Nice.
kind of gets you excited,
That's
right?
really exciting.
Yeah.
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 Kind of makes you think.
I
And
didn't
that-
want a trailer anyways.
I didn't want a trailer either. Did anyone here want a trailer?
No.
No, I would have been happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we wouldn't have turned it down.
If they showed a trailer, I'd get up out of Hall H. No, thank you, sir. Yeah. Just can't walk into the Fox
How
Sports
dare
Grill.
you?
Yeah.
I said good day.
We didn't bring a trailer, but we have the movie cut in full for free, available on StarWars.com right
I wouldn't
now.
put it past them after what they did.
Click it out.
Yeah, plus the the stuff getting leaked and all that kind of stuff from Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Loose lips, sink starships.
Yeah, absolutely. So the panel was great, and there's so many things we can dive in and talk about. Of course, we know Harrison Ford, which, by the way, it's Han Solo's birthday today, his 73rd birthday. I hope I can crash a plane and look that good at 50. I'll take 73 even.
I'd be happy with either one of those.
Yeah.
Looking good or crashing a plane.
Crashing a plane.
Dude, I like to look as good as any of them do.
Yeah, at any age.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The way they did it is Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and then my favorite, Lawrence Kasdan, came out to talk about the movie he wrote. J.J. even did an impersonation of Lawrence Kasdan. That actually
They're
I thought
all
was
in on the
pretty good.
joke. I love that.
Everyone knows how Larry talks. That's how he does it. And it was great to hear them talk. And they took audience questions, and some of the questions were, what can you tell us about the movie? What did it? But one fan was like, "Hey, are we gonna get any reference to a certain staff found by a certain character, Rey, that maybe has to do with a certain Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Plagueis?" And there was a moment.
Yeah.
They all looked to Larry Kasdan, and he went, what'd you say? Talking about Darth Vegas? I think you meant Darth Vader. And that was it.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that they're hiding something.
They were a
to
little
me.
bit angry. You could tell that
There's
somebody asked that.
They're a little bit like, and so I think that confirms that this staff has something to do.
I still hold out
Plagueis the
I still hold
Wise.
out hope about Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah, nothing about Snoke really came up. But you think that's?
I think it's Plagueis.
You think it's Plagueis.
Yeah.
So well, first reactions to that?
Yeah, he's
in it.
He's playing it real close to the chest on that, and with good reason, because you don't want to spoil that totally,
Absolutely.
And if he's not, it'll be real disappointing. But I'm looking forward to see what that particular writer can do with it. With
Absolutely.
with that part of the sandbox.
And getting some layers there, some emotional layers there.
We got the same thing with John Harrison in Star Trek Into Darkness. So it's like they're trying. It definitely feels like they're trying to keep something again.
Absolutely.
The other one was just much more obvious.
Yeah.
And now with the reactions on this one, it's starting to get like, okay, no, at first we were like, this is a rumor, but now you're
it's a really specific staff to pick.
It's a really specific staff, and if you look at the toys, you can tell. You're like, oh, I get it.
And
You
she's
were
a
kind of hoping,
scavenger.
though, weren't you, for one of those moments where Harrison Ford just doesn't care and just starts blurting out, "Yeah, he's in it. He's in it. What are we talking about?" Yeah.
This time.
So then they, of
I had
course,
lunch with him.
then of course they bring out. So they go back and they bring out the heroes of the movie, which is John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Oscar Isaac, who had a big Comic-Con weekend as well, Mr. Apocalypse himself. They look great. They look excited. We've seen them before. We've seen them come out at Celebration. It was fun to see them. They all love it, but Boyega just radiates energy and enthusiasm for this picture.
Yeah.
And being it, he is such a fan, and I think he's got a charisma. They all got a charisma. Daisy is still, even herself, she made a joke about this being the only thing she's ever done in her career. She's so young. She's got that Keira Knightley look to her.
But they have that, just together, they have like a really cool triptych sort of going there,
They have like an original trilogy dynamic. Like Boyega is Luke.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac is Han. Very cool guy. And then I guess she's kind of like Leia.
And Daisy,
Or Chewie.
Daisy is she's getting a lot of action. She's doing a lot of running and flying and everything and stuff we've seen so far. And again. And it sounded like Mark Ellis's voice during the panel. Yes, guys, at this point, they went back to questions from the audience, and our very own Mark Ellis of Schmoes Know was waiting in line and got himself a question. That came during the bad guy segment, actually. They then brought out the villains. Adam Driver, a very uncomfortable Adam Driver. He does not seem very comfortable with the limelight. Then, what's his name? Donald Gleason came out. He is playing a character we now know as General Hux, who's has an Imperial officer kind of look to him. And then one of my personal favorites, Gwendolyn Christie, of course, playing Captain Phasma, came out. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to come around the corner on that name. It's already fading into my memory as something that I didn't like. Simply because she's so awesome. She was great in the Game of Thrones panel. And she was... just take it, JT. Just eat him, Ken. JT's trying to sneak quietly his gum there. Gwendolyn Christie is just awesome. And again, this is someone who knows what she's a part of and loves to be there. Reactions to the reveal of the name General Hux. Mark?
Cool name. Like, I've had no problem with the name so far, Ken.
Not as much as me?
No.
Not as much as Snoke and Phasma?
Snoke and Phasma. No. Hux is awesome, and it sounds pretty metal.
And it sounds very Star Warsy. Dak.
Yes.
You know, like, it's just one syllable, quick, hard ending, you know.
Yeah. Steve Chaput, I'm saying that wrong, of course, said in the chat room, Driver seemed like he wanted to be anywhere, any place else, and that is true. Driver looked very, very uncomfortable. Not off-put, just uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's an uncomfortable dude normally, but I'm sure he's even more uncomfortable when he doesn't know what he can say, because we saw what happened when Donald Gleason assumed too much.
Yeah, and absolutely, and that's what's happened. So on Mark Ellis's question, and I forget Mark's exact question,
Who could beat up who?
It was like, what was your reaction to being cast?
What was your reaction to being cast? I think, yeah, you're right. And at some point, it was the response from Gleason was that he is on a base called Starkiller base.
Yeah.
And then kind of went, like looked at JJ for, I'm fired, right? I'm fired, right?
Yeah.
Great moment. So, Starkiller, reference to, of course, original Skywalker name, but also a reference to Galen Merrick. You guys, a little geek moment there?
Yeah, I was very excited just hearing that word officially come out in anything having to do with Star Wars.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. And when asked about his character, as Thomas Bergstrom says in the chat room, he answered, "I'm British, so I'm evil."
Yeah.
But
Alec Guinness, he was British. He wasn't evil.
That's true.
He's the one.
Yeah,
He's the one.
He's the one. He's
That's
the
all we
one.
get.
Then they brought out the legacy players, and of course, they brought it out one at a time, and you could see what they were doing. You could see what they were playing with. Carrie Fisher comes out. She is your sassy grandmother. She looked like she was having fun. That's all I'll say. She came out, and then they bring out Mark Hamill. We've seen both of them again on stages before, Celebration and other places. And Hamill is an elder statesman of this property. You love to see the beard back, though he may have just grown that waiting for Hall H lines like a lot of people. And that was it for a bit. They just talked to them. There was no other microphone. There was no other little placard. And but I happened to look, I peered, and there was another chair. So you could tell what they were going to do. And Chris Hardwick is the best moderator in the business, and he just kind of worked it in there and says, well, how's Harrison Ford doing? Is his leg okay from that plane crash? I don't know. Let's just ask him himself. Crowd explodes.
Yeah.
Harrison walks out, 72 at the time, 73 as of today. Look at that, man. He's in great shape, and it was just such a great moment to witness. It was a great moment to be there to see Harrison embracing it.
Just Terry Fisher.
His geek love is so strong in from our end. You know, I don't know, but I went to the Crystal Skull panel at Hall H, and that was just a video live feed of him.
Right.
And people went ape crap. They couldn't get enough. They were just like, so I can't even imagine what the reaction was seeing him live.
It was you kind of knew, and then the moment the moment Abrams asked the answer was asked, I mean, it got loud, but it got oddly emotional really quick. And Harrison Ford, and some of you have seen the panel out there on YouTube, at one point chokes up.
Yeah.
Talking about coming back, talking about this is the film that started my working career.
Wow.
And started my working life. And he kind of had one of those little moments. And to see that, this is a guy who was notoriously cranky, who was notoriously like,
a little jaded about it. Yeah.
you nailed it. Just
he even took a shot. He took a shot in this panel. He said something about, can't remember the exact quote, but I'm so surprised that I feel blessed by this and not haunted by this.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times, our friend, Jedi Alliance co-creator Maude Garrett, was interviewed him, said something about sci-fi movies, and he was like, look, I've been in 60 movies. 5 of them were sci-fi, and you have to ask me about that? Like, that's kind of his reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's here. He's here. What does that mean to us as Star Wars fans? Silence is what it means.
I mean, my favorite thing he said was that he was like, I love the fact that he said that it was the right company all the way around with the director and everything. And then the fact that he was like, it should have felt ridiculous.
Yeah.
Getting back in 30 plus years later, but it felt perfect.
Felt perfect, yeah.
I loved it.
I think, too, it's a nice moment because it's all like the fandom is all theoretical until you see Hall H.
Yeah.
You know, and you see, no, these are actual people that are crazy about this work that I've done.
Right.
So I think for him that probably was a really big moment, because it's not just one guy, you know, hopping out of the bushes while he's trying to have lunch. It's like, you know, it's like a bunch of like seriously well-meaning people, you know.
Imagine it. I liked it when you got out of the carbonite. I was so worried.
And I'd like
Can
to
I have an autograph?
I never thought you'd get out again.
And I'd like to apologize to Mr. Ford for being that guy. But no, you know.
They'll drop the charges someday.
It's some of these people. I mean, that's what I like about Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill, like I said, he's the elder statesman of this fandom. He was joking on the panel. I don't know. Like, I'll fail a Star Wars trivia question, all that kind of stuff. When we interviewed him on Schmoes Know on the phone, Christian Harloff was explaining canon to him, or what was canon. He knew what canon was, but just what was canon. But he has never turned his back on it, and he's embraced it, and the fans love him for that. But Harrison's always been the wild card. In this moment, it was great.
Well, and that's one thing I like about that. It's just kind of fate that Hamill is anchoring all of this.
Yeah.
Is that he's very much a geek himself, and he may not know all the minutia, but he gets it on a level that probably none of the other actors involved do.
Yes.
You know, like all the way back to the Campbell mythology and all of how all of it was created and everything. And he really is a keeper of the flame. So I'm so glad that he's involved again.
And he was, because for years, you know, Harrison wouldn't talk about it. Carrie Fisher, God bless her, had some personal issues she had to deal with and was always kind of a wild card. She was always ready for interviews, and I think it's hilarious in interviews. Her quote about every time I look in the mirror, I have to give George $1 is just spectacular. But have Harrison back. And then the thing that he said about upon reading the script, Larry's script, and I guess no one's given any credit to Michael Arndt anymore. I guess he's been pushed out. It is definitely Kasdan's influence on this script, and I think we're better for it. Nothing against Arndt's. Who knows what he wrote. Right. Ford says, if I read Larry's script and found it to be just beautiful and elegant and having some really intriguing developments to it. And I was, of all the things, my nerd chill level went through the roof at that point. Because I think truly we are home.
Yeah. And it's like, you're not going to find a harsher critic probably than Harrison Ford on this particular property.
He did do Cowboys and Aliens, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like on this,
thing,
specific property too, you know, it's like, why would I even come back if it's not perfect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You not being in Hall H or at Comic-Con and experienced that from a distance, when you were hearing all this stuff come out, what was your reaction as a Star Wars fan?
Well, first of all, as a Comic-Con fan, I knew how sort of vehemently against Comic-Con Harrison Ford has been over the past couple of years, and just the idea of him coming to such a realization about the fandom and the saga as a whole and his place in it is great. It was kind of no surprise that he was there. That all the tweets I was seeing, he was like, "I'm crying. This is my childhood." Was, you know, overdramatic, but that's what fandoms are. It just a wonderful gesture in general to see him there. Let alone talk about it.
Close it and kind of give you that hope that we got something here. I think it's been growing and growing and growing, and I keep coming back to that because, as George himself says, you can do wrong with these things. You can do it wrong. You can ruin these. American Graffiti too, but in Crystal Skull and all those things, the prequels. But when I read that, or when I saw that from Harrison, and it's Harrison. If Mark had said it, all right. Carrie, all right. Dennis Lawson. Sure. All right. You know, C-3PO, he's going to come back for anything. But
he said it this morning. He says it everywhere he goes. He says,
we could shoot a fan film right now. C-3PO, Anthony Daniels would be in it right now. It's also great seeing Peter Mayhew was in the crowd.
Oh, nice.
And there. So that was, for me, the biggest moment of it. It, of course, ends with Chris Hardwick and J.J. Abrams saying, "Do you want to do something really insane?" Crowd goes, "Yes. Hey, we felt bad that we can't bring a trailer of footage. We're going to take you all outside, all 7,000 of you, and we're going to give you a pass. There's enough for everybody. Please don't trample people to death," is what they were literally saying. And you're going to go to a free Star Wars concert tonight. I have the lanyard right here, right now.
But there seems to be something still on there.
Mark,
though.
you're right. There, unfortunately, is number 09956 ticket is still attached. One redeem. Unfortunately, couldn't go to this because Mark Ellis and I, at this point, were sitting there. He had asked this question. He'd come back, and we looked at each other, and we realized we had work to do. We unfortunately were there to cover Comic-Con, not there to have all the fun, though we definitely had some fun.
So you're saying you sacrificed seeing a once-in-a-lifetime Star Wars concert with the cast for the fans.
Yeah, because I had to go work and go to movie
does this
fights.
require an applause or a cry?
No.
So.
This
Sobbing applause.
This brings us to a moral question that I want to answer. Mark Ellis does not have his pass, but he did not attend.
Right.
I do have my pass. I did not attend. He gave his way away to a fan. I kept mine for collecting purposes. Am I on the dark side?
No, most fans would have done that.
No,
Well, I mean, think about it.
especially if you didn't get to go.
You're
to
probably the
concert.
only
Yeah.
person that has it complete still. The only person.
Right.
Out of 7,000.
Because no one else in their right mind would have done what you did. So it's pretty much just you.
This might be one of the only surviving ones left, is what you're telling
I
me?
would say,
Okay.
and I'd say you've earned it by not going and by doing stuff for the
work.
fans instead. You know?
Yeah, Rachel Cushing in the chat room must have been the hardest decision of my life. It wasn't a hard decision. We were there to work, like I said, and look, it's not hard work. But it's a long day.
I would have covered the concert for the fans.
Yeah.
See, now we don't have a live report for Jedi Alliance.
I had to go do something because something related to
Periscope it.
to a new job I got, and I had to go work. And I'm not kidding. The moment I heard Abrams say, "You're all going to be marched out of here," I'm looking. I'm like, "This is a joke, right?"
Yeah.
Like I thought they were just going to play a clip of maybe some new Star Wars music as Williams had recorded or something.
Right.
I was hoping for that.
You know what's interesting? Like 5 minutes before that, I was like, I wonder if they play like a new John Williams clip.
Yeah.
And then
You know,
the concert.
Finn's theme, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But my heart literally, and I literally went. My head went forward, but I can't go. So that was kind of the wrap up. But there's something I wanted to break down individually that happened in the panel, and that is, of course, Abrams said, "Hey, we got no trailer, we got no clips to bring you, but we're going to bring you this behind the scenes video."
Yep.
And I think I said on the review it was like a minute long. It was actually like almost 4 minutes long. And in my head at this point, I don't know if anyone out there who's in Hall H thought I went, all right. I've seen behind the scenes. All right, we're going to see the set of the Falcon. I watched it again today, and tears welled up in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have all had a chance to see it. You take me through your reaction to see it, and we can break it down. Mark?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go first. I think now, post-panel, this is the best thing that they could have shown. Because they could have shown new footage and like, oh, cool, new footage.
Right.
They could have had us listen to music. Oh, cool, new music. But showing the work and showing the practical effects, showing the puppetry, showing the real sets just with the green screen behind it, like, and showing how real and how involved everybody was on the set, made it feel like this is Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is Star Wars. It's not just what we see on screen.
Yeah.
It's what went into it. It was the struggle, what turned Star Wars into the movie that we know today and the saga that we know today.
Yeah.
So seeing all of that again is like, that is the one that's making me go, when is this movie? I need it now.
That's exactly, yeah. Yeah, like, I remember watching From Star Wars to Jedi when I was a kid. And back then there was no internet. Anything that leaked out was through, like, a video special on cable or magazines like Fangoria and that sort of thing. And learning about ILM, learning about Skywalker Sound, THX, all these different companies, and seeing just how many artists and artisans were brought in to make the true star of the movie, which was the world,
Yes.
happen, and just, getting to see that again and getting that same sort of vibe of the people that are doing this really are types of sorcerers for being able to accomplish what they're accomplishing and making it look real and building this world that when I'm watching it, when I'm actually engaged in it, is 100% immersive to me and is completely real to me.
So well said. So well said. Alex?
I was sitting in a room and we were all doing work. People were coming back into the house and everything for Comic-Con, and I turned it on and everyone was like, what is that? And I was like, it's Star Wars footage. Move! And they all squeezed in. We all had work to do, but we all watched it 2 times in a row, no matter what.
Yeah.
They showed an amazing trailer without showing a trailer.
That's an excellent point, Alex. I watched it again this morning, and some pictures are on screen here that Jonathan's putting up. And thank you again, Jonathan, for your work running the board today. And it was a trailer.
Yeah, they showed us. We saw Princess Leia for the first time.
You saw the practical effects in place. You saw Peter Mayhew. That was a great moment. The trailer itself, and some people in the chat room are commenting there. Yeah, we confirmed Simon Pegg is definitely in it. We kind of already
Just a random
Is he Jabba
creature.
the Hutt? What is he?
But they shot it so well, and again, it goes back to what we were saying about Mark Hamill. It's some nice music playing. They're doing the slates, showing clips of the slates, and then Mark Hamill's voice comes in because once again we kind of need him as the elder statesman to tell us it's going to be all right.
Yeah,
they're doing this right,
and it was shot well too. It's a behind the scenes thing, and it's shot well. That pan into Oscar Isaac being dragged down the hall.
Absolutely. So some of the, again, we got Leia. This character there, the one that's up on screen is for us here in the studio. That's the one that they referenced has 5 puppeteers working it. Which harkens back to Jabba, where they had the little person in the tailor moving it, going backwards and forwards. Move the tail. It's a lived-in world with modern. Obviously, there's going to be CGI in it because they got to make it look good. I mean, we've known that from the teaser.
That's fine, though.
Even the angles of these clips are right.
Yeah,
Yes.
And we also know she's going to pilot the Falcon at one point.
Yeah, that shot was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot in it. Again, and I've been so don't spoil, and I'm still pretty tight on that. But I watched this.
I had that expression
because it's official, because it's there. I really bought into this moment. I watched it again today, right before I got here, and wanted to kind of take it in again, and whew, got me.
Yeah.
And you can make fun of us. We make fun of ourselves for being nerds and geeks and these fans and everything. But again, this Star Wars is more than that. It is kind of an all-encompassing world and of our connecting to our childhoods. This is me on a playground in 1983, acting out what would happen after Return of the Jedi ended, and to see that they're taking such good care of it. Yes, Mark.
Peg's face and comments just was speaking for
everybody.
For Star Wars.
All my life is built to this moment.
And seeing that from somebody on set is just another thing that makes you go, this is going to be great. It's going to be something else.
And there was some great stuff. The crashed TIE fighter.
And the new TIE fighter too.
Right. Yeah, the new TIE fighter. That's a little makeup there. The model of the crashed TIE fighter. That I think now I don't want to say it, but I think we know where that comes into the plot based on some of the other stuff, and you can start connecting the dots from the first 2 teasers to this and to the trailer will come out.
But also that too, miniatures. Like we're getting miniatures again. We're going back to the classic way.
And building the sets. And again, the shot with these First Order stormtroopers being actually blown up and flown, and they're not on a computer screen.
Yeah.
Look, we take our shots at the prequels, but one of the things I absolutely hate and will never back off on is the fact that there was not one real clone trooper in those movies.
Yeah.
Just a head on a screen.
What did you think of the new information about Poe too, and that shot of him being dragged down the hall?
Well, that's a great point. Isaac, I think let it slip a little bit when he said, "You don't know my character's past. This 30 years time. It's 30 years time, real time for the character too." And he goes, "I may have been there on Yavin for the medal ceremony at the end of New Hope." And then he kind of and he stopped.
And he was like, "And I want to be that hero."
Yeah.
And I get reckless about it. Yeah, that's exciting.
And that's great stuff. And some of the stuff in the first teaser, the X-wings over the water. Yavin 4 was one of my guesses. It still could be. Yeah. Mike's just taking it in. I'm looking across the table.
I just get so excited when I see these different images. Like that image right there is just fantastic.
The cinematography.
That says Star Wars more than anything.
No lens flare.
Yeah.
lens flare.
Not yet, at least.
Keeping it in check.
Not
I
yet.
wouldn't even care if it was.
And there's
so.
still a lot
Yeah.
less to see. You know, no Andy Serkis, no read on what that character is. Again, we think we might have an idea or a guess. They didn't show a lot of the Captain Phasma Chrome Trooper outfit in this one there, which is fine. I think we'll probably get that a lot more. General Hux, they're not showing a lot of. They just released that one photo. So there's still so much more out there. I don't feel spoiled. I don't quite know, who Lupita Nyong'o's character is. I don't know any of that stuff. And they gave me kind of what I wanted. They gave me the feel of what we got going on. A trailer without a trailer, Alex.
Yeah,
Well said.
JJ and all of them are showing studios how to promote movies.
Yeah.
Because we have a good enough understanding of it now. And I don't even need
Right.
another trailer.
Right. And as Nick Headsmith in the chat room just says, only 157 days to go until I cry in front of a packed theater of people.
Who are also going to be
crying,
crying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
the theater
just
will
all
be flooded.
cry.
That Lucasfilm thing's going to hit, and you're just going to hear people go,
Yeah. And Tommy D, Max von Sydow's character's in this
Yeah,
movie.
we had no
we
idea.
haven't even factored that in yet in the conversation.
He hasn't said a word about it, too.
They are giving a lot to us, but they're holding a lot back. JJ's Mystery Box.
Which I love. And he's doing it perfectly, unlike Star Trek 2.
Joey Beans is crying. He says, this podcast is giving me man tears. Joey Beans is crying. I do want to move on from this, though. We could look at these pictures all day and cry ourselves here in the studio, but you got a chance, Alex, to play Battlefront.
Yes, I did.
At the floor, on the floor there, right? Or
Nerd
was it-
HQ.
Nerd HQ. Zach Levi's Nerd Machine, Nerd HQ over there. Tell us about that. You got your hands on that
Yeah,
game.
I got to play 2 rounds of it on
lucky.
the Hoth
I
planet.
only got one.
I was probably supposed to leave, but the kid next to me turned and he goes, "Do we have to leave?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it." It was an entire room just filled with computer monitors and PS4s. PS4s were the survival map, and the ones were on the Hoth map. And you'd have to put on the headphones, be really immersed. I'm not even a PC guy too. I got the hang of it pretty quickly,
Right.
And
Right.
it's addicting. You just the minute a round ends, if you have the chance to play another round, you'll fight somebody who tries to make you leave. You want even if you win. I won the second round, and I was like, I want to keep going.
Yeah.
And people are saying, is it Star Wars Battlefield? And there is a lot of similarities.
You've both played it. We both talked about it with you guys, and you
Yeah.
still want to play Disney Star Wars Infinity more, right?
I want to play both. The demo, it was very much, all right, come in, stand here. All right, now you can go in and sit and play the one round, and then you can leave. It was E3, so you had to get in and get out.
I got very much more of what it would actually be at home to play it of a feel. And
So you have to take your pants off.
I will not comment.
Can't win unless you play naked.
No, it does have a lot of similarities, mechanics and everything. But I thought there was enough differences. Firing a blaster is not like firing a gun.
Feels different. It feels super different.
It goes different directions. You understand why maybe stormtroopers might always miss because they go everywhere.
They built that into the game to explain it.
I challenge anybody who plays Battlefield to find a more rewarding moment than destroying an AT-AT or finding an X-wing upgrade on the map and being like, yes, right now, and then needing to fly it.
Well, we definitely are going to have a Jedi Alliance Star Wars Battlefront tournament and play, right?
And that's
Yeah,
the thing.
I'm super
You get to
down.
play with
Don't worry,
all your friends.
we can do one too for
It's
Infinity.
so much
Mark.
fun.
Fine, that's fine. Everyone's making fun of me just because I liked Infinity.
I'm
a
not
lot.
making fun of you. I'll play with you too, man. I just, So from there, I want to move on to Mike Black. Thank you so much, Mike. This is a last-minute addition for you to come out here today. I text Mike, can you be on the show? He's like, I just woke up. I'll be there.
Which is how I sound no matter when I wake up, honestly.
Was that on the floor?
You got to...
Winners got to go and pose with that.
Mike, you got to experience this side of the convention that I do go on the floor, but I usually don't get there till Saturday or maybe Saturday afternoon, and it is packed. Usually go on preview night, so you got to really take your time. Take us through what you saw in the world of Star Wars toys.
Well, there's this. This was over at the Sideshow booth. Those are 12-inch figures. So that thing is massive.
Wow.
And it's got all the bells and whistles. The cockpit lights up. I don't know if this will actually be released.
Or if it was just there.
Or if it was just for the one Sultan that can afford it.
Right.
But I know Han and Chewie will be. And they look great. The likenesses on them are just insane.
Yeah, Sideshow does a great job.
Yeah, if you look even on Han's hand, he's got the piloting gloves on and everything. Let's move to the next one. That is their 12-inch life-size, 12-inch scale TIE fighter, which has a TIE fighter pilot in it. And you can see by that kid how enormous it is.
Yeah.
You know.
That really helps the scale.
And,
nice framing.
Thank you.
I would actually have a kid so I could sell that kid to get that TIE fighter in my house.
Yeah.
Love that.
This guy was just a great cosplayer, I think. I don't know if he's official, but he looked official to me.
He might have been one of San Diego's many downtown homeless who just
yeah, there's a chance.
who are a equally as fun part of Comic-Con.
Star Wars.
He did ask me to take him to Subway.
Hey, man, I'll pilot any ship if you just.
These are some more of the sideshow booth
Are
stuff.
these the sideshow ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now this, I don't know who doesn't want this ultimate Luke Skywalker. He's got like 4 pairs of hands: the hat, the poncho, the helmet, the practice helmet.
Yeah.
The stormtrooper belt. It's everything you
there.
could want in like a classic original New Hope Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And the Darth Vader I didn't get quite as good a picture of because people were kind of shoving
Jostling for
around.
position.
But if you'll notice off to his side there is the little torture bot, which also comes with him. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And next one, what do we got? Oh, this looks like the old 70s R2-D2, but if you look behind him, you see that he's enormous. That's life-size.
That's a life-size 77 R2. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool. Up next, just you can't go wrong with a statue of Boba Fett. And I think this one is actually articulated and moves,
Looks like a little kid in the costume.
Oh, is there a kid?
no.
It looks like it. It looks like a little kid who dressed up as Boba Fett. It's great.
Yeah, and
The detail on
what I
these
love
is
about him is, with Boba Fett, you can see just how much love they put into the details on him, you know. And I don't believe that poncho is final, from what I was told. That is not the final version of that. What's next?
That goes into duel.
Not my picture.
Ray's.
Well, they had this at Celebration too. They had Ray's speeder there.
Yeah. Now this was not the actual movie prop. This was some guys made this themselves, but damn, did they do a good job?
Yeah,
you know,
very
Still
good.
looks like a fudge bar, but I love it.
But you know, and Christian Harloff and I walked by, and we saw that. And he said, "You know what I like about that speeder? It's a brand new vehicle for a brand new movie, but it looks like it's been in the Star Wars universe forever."
Yeah. It
fits
right
it's
in
already
there.
right there. Did you get a chance at all to see some of the new Black Series official editions that are going to be coming out?
Yeah, the Luke Skywalker one looks great.
Okay.
The one from the 2 from Rebels that are coming.
They have Ahsoka Tano, which I'm very excited about. From they're saying of Star Wars Clone Wars, but I saw it looks like the older version of Ahsoka from Rebels, Kanan of Rebels, and then the fans' choice, and then Jango Fett. They're doing a Jango Fett.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then the characters from the fans' choice poll that's been going on for a little bit here is the winners are Darth Revan and Sabine from Star Wars Rebels.
No surprise there with Sabine.
Sabine is climbing up the charts, man. Number 10 with a bullet on people's favorite Star Wars character, and I think that's
Trying
great.
to fire a blasted Vader.
Right.
She's awesome.
She's awesome, and I think Sabine, Ahsoka, and Kanan are now up there and fully accepted by a wide berth of fans, myself included.
And I think they're going to give them like enough accessories to where you can kind of customize them in the way that you want them to look. You know,
Yep.
They tend to do a little of that in the Black Series. You know,
And Revan, of course, speaks to the fans' love of the Knights of the Old Republic.
That's such a good story.
Yeah, and I think that again, the fans, your voice does get heard, and who knows what they're going to do with that Old Republic stuff.
Did anybody see the George Lucas cosplayer?
No.
I've seen one a few times. I don't know not this time. But.
Okay, so first of all, amazing look. He's got "Hello, my name is George." Jar Jar stuffed in under one arm, and the other one is a sign that says "Greedo shot first." Amazing that he's still alive.
Are they carrying the song from Return of the Jedi that he added in, like in a boombox in his pocket? That'd be even better.
I think I saw the guy at Celebrations. He was good. And I think he's a comedian or a writer down here in LA who's doing it. Yes, JT, it was Kenny Rogers, actually. This is what he's saying. Do you guys think any Rebels characters will show up in Rogue One? And they did announce, Kathleen Kennedy announced Rogue One is about 3 weeks away from shooting. And with the popularity and rise of Sabine and the grown-up Ahsoka and Kanan, what do you guys think? Anything of them in Rogue One?
I bet there'll be some sort of reference to them.
I think they'll say the crew of the Ghost.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Or
I don't
you'll
think
see
we'll
the ghost in the
Yeah,
background
I don't
or
think we'll see
something.
anybody though.
Or
It'd be
some
kind of-
sort of prop, like a significant weapon or something like
Gotcha.
that. From the,
Yeah.
That makes sense to me that they'd work it in slowly or work it in a very specialized way. So that is kind of a wrap on 2015 Comic-Con for Star Wars and Star Wars fans. Like we say just about every week here, it is a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and D23 is coming up. We might get some stuff there, but JJ says new trailer in the fall as you build up towards the December 18th release, where we will all find our way to the theaters to see.
We'll find our way.
Find
Yes.
and fight
Oh,
our
yeah.
way.
I'm already looking at tents.
Looking at line tents?
Yeah, line tents.
Man, I love line tents for Star Wars. Let's do it. Let's get a Jedi Alliance line tent. JT, you can teach me how to survive lines after your Hall H experience last year. So from there, I do want to move to Duel of Fates, and I woke up this morning, realized, I made a mistake. Last week, I never put the Duel of Fates on the Jedi Alliance Facebook page because I was, after the show last week, with Miri and guy Joe, and that shows me where my head was last week. I had to leave the studio, go pack and plan for Comic-Con, so I forgot to put it up there. Last week we asked a simple question: what part of the Battle of Endor would you want to have taken part of? Which is either the space battle, or would you want to have been on the Endor strike team? Mike, where would you have taken it?
Endor, just because that's a more fun one to watch.
Yeah.
Like, to me, like, even if you're not participating all that much in the battle, which honestly at this age I don't know how much good I'd do. I'd probably be handing rocks to the Ewoks or something, you know.
I got another one
But
for
you get to watch a lot of cool stuff going on.
We just see you pop up. Chuck. Pop.
Yeah. I was the guy who gathered up the Stormtrooper helmets for them to play on later that night.
You're the chef.
Yeah.
There's got to be an Ewok chef
I was like,
somewhere.
we're not cooking Han and...
We're not-
all right, it's you
I'll-
guys call.
I'll
Just
cook
whatever
this.
you bring me, I'll cook it.
This biker scout.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's a little tough on the outside, but you get to the center there. Alex, what would you have been a part of?
I would have been on the strike team on the ground.
On the ground.
Yeah, I don't want to be up in space fighting. If I'm going to be up in space, I just want to be chilling.
Gotcha.
It's too creepy.
Put that in
No.
If I got to be up in space, I just want to be chilling.
Yeah.
Mark Donica, remind us your take
Last
on this
week I
one.
said the ground.
Yeah.
Like the opportunity to pilot an ATST is just too great.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
It's good.
Pull one out and
take
throw
one-
them out.
exactly.
Oh, it's so good.
Great. Squeezing some Ewoks into ATST, maybe?
Yeah.
I said I'd be down on Endor because I like it so much. But this week's Duel of the Fates is suggested by our very own Alex Welsh. Again, writer for SchmoesKnow.com and Geek Nation. I frantically texted him this morning, I need a Duel of the Fates! And he said, here's one, and here it is. Would Anakin Skywalker have turned to the dark side of the Force if Yoda had taught him? Deep philosophical question. JT's thinking he has no microphone, though. Mark Donica, I'm going to start with you.
I think it just would have taken a little bit longer. Like with the Duel of Fates, we had a couple weeks of if Luke or the bonus question was what would happen if Luke went to get power converters.
Right.
I think it's a matter of destiny where it's just that's something that's going to happen.
Right.
Things would have happened differently. It may have been a little bit more interesting, but didn't Yoda not want him to be trained at first?
Correct.
So
we're just saying, what if Yoda had taken over?
Okay.
What if he was like, you know what? At the end of Phantom Menace, you know what? Qui-Gon's dead. I'm gonna take him. Don't worry about Obi-Wan. I got this.
I think maybe Sheev would have taken a little bit more of a hands-on approach if he'd seen, oh crap, if Yoda's got this kid, I need to do something a little bit more extreme.
So what would have happened, but down the line, Mike Black?
I think Yoda is kind of aware in a general way of what's going to happen. And I think he would have probably withheld a lot of training and kept him as minimally powerful as he could, knowing that he's pretty much at the maximum anyway.
Right.
And I think events would have unfolded pretty much the same, and Yoda's well aware of that. So even if he had trained him, he would have still been anti-training him.
Like he would have been training him to defeat him later.
Yeah.
Interesting point. Interesting take. I agree. You're saying, hey, this would have happened regardless, but the slower. You're saying Yoda might have seen this coming. Alex, your question, where do you come down?
So you both are saying that, yes, he would have turned no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Wow. Contrarian.
Because
Explain
of the final Clone Wars episodes.
Explain it.
Remember when Yoda is in that medical chamber and they won't let him leave?
Yep.
And he has to go to this planet to research from Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And he gets Anakin to help him. And he encourages. Yoda's a bit mischievous. We see that on it. We see that on Dagobah.
Yep.
He's a bit of a wisecracking guy.
Yep.
And Anakin, and I think he would have allowed Anakin to be a little bit more loose. Like at the same time, he would have held him more.
Yeah.
But he even says, "You're known for not listening." I'm aware of that.
You think he would have been kind of a better teacher? Yeah. Where Obi-Wan's maybe.
I think Anakin would have been more open to consulting Yoda, whereas consulting Obi-Wan would have been like consulting a friend.
Right. Okay. And Obi-Wan, there's a little bit of that there. And Obi-Wan, I think maybe was trying too hard. Maybe it was more about him proving he can do it.
Yeah.
I got to think, though, Mike, I came into this conversation with an open mind. I was coming down on your side. I think this would have happened. It was already in him. But I agree with you, Mike. It was already in him. And Yoda probably kind of knew that.
And that's why he rejected him in canon, I think.
So I think it would have eventually, he would have gone, I killed all the younglings. Just maybe a little bit down the line. But you make some very valid points. And you're digging into one of your favorite characters, Yoda. And what he's capable of, what he knows, and his abilities as a teacher cannot be denied. Though he did teach Dooku, and Dooku eventually went bad because he enjoyed a beer on the side every now and then.
But then Obi-Wan trained Anakin, failed, just like Yoda failed with Dooku, and then trained Luke better.
There you go. And R. Smith has a good point. Maybe if he didn't meet Padme, she was the reason he turned.
That's true.
Keep those girls away.
Yeah.
Girls are bad, right?
Girls
JT?
are icky, according to...
And I don't think Yoda ever really trusted Palpatine all that much.
That's true.
I don't think he would have let Anakin get his close.
Yoda's kind of a solo guy, man. He likes to hang by himself in huts for a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't get along with a lot of people.
His own counsel does he
Hey,
keep?
guys, that is... we're going to put that one, I promise, up on the Facebook page, and maybe we'll put the other one from last week up, and we can weigh in on that, too. I want to thank you so much for not just listening today, but for the people that came out to 2015 San Diego Comic-Con International and took the time to say hi to us, whether you be a Jedi Alliance fan. I had a lot of you say hi to me, or the Schmoes Know crew. We had a great Schmoes Know meetup over at the Omni Hotel. We took over the hotel, and I'm surprised no one kicked us out of the hotel. There was people there who even liked JTE. And I want to do a shout out to one of our listeners, Pablo from Mexico. You might have always heard Pablo every time he calls in. He goes, Pablo from Mexico here. He came up to me. We took a photo, but he also gave me this gift. It is Marvel Star Wars 1, but the Mexican version of it. So
nice.
I'm going to keep it sealed, though I got to be honest, I kind of want to open it up and
just see what it looks like.
Some of that dialogue. So Pablo, that meant a lot to me that you took the time to bring this up from Mexico to me and hand it over to me in the thing. He gave you a shot glass? Pablo, where's my shot glass? No, I'm kidding. This is a great gift and great to have. I do this show out of love for Star Wars and the fact that there's people out there who enjoy it, who enjoy the people that we bring on this panel, and you're so supportive. And to see it face to face, it is definitely special. We are all having a great ride here in 2015 as Star Wars fans. So again, Mike Black, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Bringing your exclusive pictures. You are a staple of this show. And Mark for joining in last minute to kind of just
Cheers.
Say, hey, it's great you guys all went.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you all had a fantastic time at Comic-Con.
Hey, but it's good. And Mark will be on the show again and again.
We'll have to play each other in Battlefront.
We'll have to.
Absolutely. And Alex Welsh from Iowa to the big time. You are here in L.A. now to work with Schmoes Know, Geek Nation, and a lot of other places. So happy to have you here, and thanks for coming on the show.
I'll do it anytime.
You've been a contributor from afar, and that's good. So, and thanks for JT for holding down the couch with no microphone in the background. I love you, JTE. That is our show for the week. You can watch more of the Popcorn Talk Network on YouTube by subscribing to youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. A lot of great shows on the network, as you know. Marvel News, DC Movie News. DC Movie News had a great con. They were there broadcasting live from Periscope or FaceTime, actually. They did an episode from FaceTime from the floor. It was great. I was there for that. So follow us at Jedi_Alliance, at the Popcorn Talk, at Schmoes Know. Catch our live show from this very studio every Thursday night, live, 6 p.m. PST. This has been Jedi Alliance on the Popcorn Talk Network. We talk movies. Thank you for listening, because many Bothans died to bring you this information.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.